This is the Jackie Allen. Chaparral.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Pastor, and this question is for Susan. And I'd like to know how long it took your father to write the music for the show. So the theme, and then like the Montoya music, and how that came about.
Well, as you all know, the theme of the High Chaparral was written by David Rose. And David Rose's daughter actually is going to be here this evening. So you'll be able to talk with her. Angela is her name. For my father, I used to hear him at the piano morning, noon, and night, writing these different themes and different episode sequences. Every show had a certain amount of music, and some more, some not. When Dad would come home and say, "Oh, it's another Indian story," that would mean that there would be far more music than usual, and he would say, "It's wall-to-wall music." And I would hear him at that piano morning, noon, and night, just playing. And the first time he would hear it with an orchestra was when he got to the studio. And he would love, it just made him so happy because he loved this show very, very much. And I remember, I don't know if you read the program book, but the last sentence talking about Harry Sukman was, David Dortort said to him when he first met my father, "Do you think that you can write Mexican music?" And my father said, "Are you kidding?" Now you all know that Montoya's theme and Manolito and all of that wonderful music, I'll tell you, he enjoyed it just as much as you do when you hear it. So that, it took a long time. I mean, an hour-long show, and he did 2 one-hour shows a week at one time with Bonanza and High Chaparral. So it took quite some time. But thanks for the question.
Just while we're talking about this, during the source of what it took to write the music, we would score a picture on the scoring stage, and that would be 3 to 4 hours with 25 to 30 musicians. And we would break and then go look at the next week's show. And I would sit with Harry and or David Rose, and we would spot where music was going to be played. This part, we would discuss what kind of music we should have. Now, after that, the music editor would write up a very detailed list of where music would go and the timing for each piece. And then Susan typed a lot of those cue sheets. It took them home to her father. He had 1 week to think of the music, write the music, and be back, because next Thursday we were on the scoring stage again. So it was just 1 week to get all that music from his head onto a piece of paper. So it's
He used to wake up in the middle of the night, I have to tell you, and he had a pencil, a black wing pencil, by his bedside with the music, sheet music, the special music paper, the lines, and he used to get up in the middle of the night and think of a melody and write it down in the middle of the night. And then in the morning, he'd take that paper to the piano and play it, not remembering really that he came up with it. He thought, boy, this is pretty good, in the middle of the night in his sleep. So, there was always music in his head, always.